Hi, and welcome back to SEO On-Air, a weekly podcast where we talk to SEO experts and agency owners about the digital marketing world. I'm your host, Aaron, and today we talk to Evan Hall, SEO Architect at Portent. We talk about his history from accounting into the SEO world, how to improve website rankings, and how to get the most out of internal links. You do have some kind of history with accounting, right?
A little bit. It's actually how I got into SEO accidentally.
Yeah, so how did the journey start?
It was back in 2008, 2009. I needed a job, and we were in the last recession at that point, and I was looking for work because I didn't want to work at a hardware store any longer, and I didn't want to continue to do retail, and I was just looking for a job, something to do. And I heard that, like through a friend of a friend, someone needed. They worked at a company that needed help with accounting for 2009. They needed someone to like get their books updated, like do some data entry on receipts, match up their QuickBooks account with the bank, some accounting tasks like that. It's been so long I don't remember all the official accounting terms. And I got a part-time job at an agency, at an SEO agency, but I didn't really understand what they did at the time. I just knew it was like this internet marketing thing. It was back when we said internet marketing instead of digital marketing, and then eventually I figured out what they were doing. It actually turned out it was a lot of link spam. They were selling thousands of links made on terrible sites, and they were getting results. It was back before Penguin, it was back before Panda, it was back before a lot of stuff, and link spam worked really well. They could they were targeting SMBs, and they would sign up. We would write a few keyword articles and then put them on a page that was linked only by the HTML sitemap. Then we'd rewrite the meta tags a little bit, and then build thousands of links over the course of the year. And then the rankings would go up. There'd be first page rankings. And I didn't really understand that the whole of the link spam strategy at the time. I just saw like, hey, I don't like this accounting data entry thing. I don't want to do journal entries any longer. Manipulating Google's search results for fun and profit sounds a whole lot more interesting. I'd rather do that. And so I just stuck around, and then as soon as there was an opening in the SEO team, I applied for it.
Were there a lot of...
And got it.
I mean, we kind of had to talk with another guest about how SEO has changed over the years. But I think there are some, let's say, evergreen factors that can still stay throughout. Have you noticed any major changes, and are there any evergreen moments?
The evergreen strategy has always been high quality content that is helpful to your user or your audience, and that's always been the advice from Google. They've said it in various ways, or we've said it in various ways, like content is king, have relevant content, have high quality content, and so on. Now we're talking about helpful content, useful content, beneficial content. It's all the same. Right content that addresses what the user is looking for, what they want to do. But back then, that worked. It definitely worked. It just didn't work as well as spam. And the change is that spam is not as effective as it used to be. But like by a lot. Those old strategies, you can't really do them anymore.
It'll probably penalize or get at least negative.
Maybe. I haven't seen a manual. I haven't worked on a manual action in a long time. I kind of see Google just ignoring links they don't like.
Okay.
But I've also seen Google not ignore bad, obviously paid links and have competitors rank for them. But we haven't had a whole lot. I haven't had a whole lot of manual actions land on my desk lately, so I haven't had to do that.
I think other things that have changed are keyword stuffing also has now, you cannot just throw keywords anywhere to rank your page. You need to be at least relevant to it.
Yes. Well, the relevance part is interesting because what is relevance?
Right.
What is it? Just having the right
We're
words on a
opening a
page?
can
Having the right
Yeah.
combination of words? Well, there are multiple types of approaches to relevance. Like in a basic keyword matching sense, in a basic keyword search that Google is using less and less, or you might see in a library search function. Like if the words in the query appear a lot as the words in the page, then it'll rank well. So like that's basic keyword matching, keyword relevance. Then like a topic. Can a machine cluster your page, like put your page in a cluster of pages around a certain topic based on what words appear and co-occur? Like that's another type of relevance. And I'm sure there's still an element of that, but ultimately, if you're thinking about what words do I need to put on a page to get Google to understand it, that's like table stakes. It's the bare minimum that you should be doing.
And
If you're
carry on.
like if you're actually writing about a topic in an in-depth way that is actually going to help someone out answer their question, you will pretty likely arrive at having the correct words on the page to get clustered correctly by topic already. It's going to happen organically in a lot of cases. Like, sure, you can go and use various tools to see what the competitor pages, which words are on the competitor pages more often than yours, and maybe fit them in a few places to make what you're saying more clear. Sure, you can do that. But at the end of the day, if you're not helping users, you're not going to rank. And that's where the algorithm is going.
So I'm kind of happy you brought up tools because that is something I did want to talk about later on. We can get to that, but you also did mention let's say the minimum requirements you need for your website. EAT would fall under that, and that is something that you have spoken about extensively at the SEO Mastery.
Yeah.
So do you mind maybe giving us a private session on that?
Sure. I'll give you the gist of I'll give you the hot take argument I had from like an internal training on EAT. It's not new. EAT is just the label Google uses in their search quality reader guides to describe what they've always been doing. I think like our old CEO and founder Ian Lurie had a tweet that nailed it. Like, haven't marketers always wanted to prove their expertise, authority, and trust to their audience? Haven't they always wanted to do that? Is there anything new about that? And there's not. There like EAT is how Google describes what their algorithms are looking for. Like, there's no such thing as an EAT algorithm or an EAT score or something like that. Like, there could be systems and algorithms that pay attention to expertise scores or classifiers, but it's not like an EAT score. Like, Google's always wanted to classify and rank and demote content based on whatever signals they can think up and implement about determining when a website or page has useful expert content on it, or they're an authority as evidenced by, say, links or mentions, or a lot of people searching for the brand, or trustworthiness as like how often, like are they doing shady things? Are they a phishing site? Are they spammers? Are they hacked? So like EAT has always been with us, just by different names. So like an old way of expertise is, well, we were talking about keyword like relevance and keyword placement.
Right.
Like that's like the really old form of expertise. The stakes were a lot lower. Like the bar to clear was so low that you just had to put the right words on the page to rank. Like now you have to like have expert information. And then like old authority was, well, PageRank. If you get links from pages that have a lot of links, and so on, you're going to rank better. If I'm sure like there's probably a signal, or maybe it's still in production. If people are searching for your brand a lot, that shows that you're an authority and then your brand is in demand. That might give you a ranking benefit. And then trust, like I said, was about spam. So it's always been with us by different names, and I don't know, Google might change the name of EAT in a few years.
Are there, let's say, different ways to use this? I think we can refer to it as a guideline, let's say. So are there ways to improve your website just following this guideline and improving ranking?
So as far as guidelines go, Google changed their name, changed the name of their guidelines to, I think, like Search Essentials or something like that. But the Search Quality Rater guidelines is something that SEOs have been talking about a lot the past few years. And it's actually pretty old. It wasn't until like just before Medic that Google was publicly releasing this document. It used to be, back in the day, search quality raters would take that PDF and leak it to SEOs, and then they would circulate it among themselves, and then sometimes post it on Search Engine Land or Search Engine Roundtable is where I used to get those leaked copies. And it's a handbook for contractors that Google has various companies hire to review their potential search results and give them ratings. So these quality raters, they're going to score search result pages and search results themselves according to page quality and another score that escapes me right now, but like how needs met. Does the search result meet the needs of the query that the user is putting in? And it goes over and it gives the search quality rater guidelines give a lot of examples about how to do that, and it gives guidance to the rater about how to understand what they're looking at, what Google's looking for, the rules and edge cases for scoring things. And there's a lot of information in there that's useful to SEOs and digital marketers about what is it that Google's trying to get more data about. Because the point of the Search Quality Rater program is to have raters review millions of websites and search result pages and then collect scores on them, so that they can use those scores to benchmark their current search results and get scores for potential search results changes, like algorithm updates or potential new features and things like that. And the important thing to note about the Search Quality Rater guidelines is what's in there is not necessarily in Google's ranking algorithm, because it's not necessarily made for that. It's to tell raters how to score pages. So it's really an indicator of what Google wants data about. So the things that Google would want data about are maybe current features that they think they have a problem they want to improve, or they're trying to gather data on a future search result. And it gives some idea of where Google's going or might be currently, but everything in there is not necessarily in the current live ranking algorithm.
Right. I think, is there more to this though, in terms of page rank and Google's behind the scene works?
Well, the Search Quality Rater guidelines, they don't talk about algorithms at all. Think of it as Google it's for the Search Quality Rater program is for Google gathering data to see how well their algorithms are working. Is the idea. So mostly discourse around the rater guidelines is that if there's a new section or new wording, SEOs will put it under the microscope and then try to derive something about what Google's going to do next. Like I had a client in the encyclopedia and reference space, and they were starting to lose rankings on like single word keywords, like, I don't know, rainbow, boat, things like that. And they would rank because they had a page about that. And then they started to lose their rankings, and other non-encyclopedia reference websites were ranking above them. They weren't direct competitors, but they were like organic competitors. And then Google released a new version of the quality rater guidelines, and they had a section about how to score reference and encyclopedia type websites. And it said, if you think people searching for this keyword are going to know what the definition is already, or know what it is already, you don't need to give a high needs met score to a reference site. People want to see other stuff about that topic. And after that, like, the problem got worse for my client. So I saw one correlation between what was in the rater guidelines and what was happening with my client's search results. And what it really meant was it wasn't like Google hates my client and specifically wants to demote them for keywords and give them less traffic. It was users are finding that they don't want to see Wikipedia, Merriam-Webster, dictionaries, the thesauruses, other encyclopedias for words that people generally know what they are. They want to see other stuff. Maybe it's brands like that. Maybe they want to learn something. They want to see interesting content about that thing, and part of it was maybe getting that feedback from the quality raters to see if their potential adjustments were going to work well in the live search results.
I'm trying to maybe draw a long line here, and you can point it out if I'm making it a stretch. But one way to go around this would be to use, again, good internal links in your content, at least.
Yeah. Internal linking is, I think it's still a pretty great lever to pull if you want to get better rankings. I don't think it's going to work as well as it does in the future, but ultimately, internal linking is about using your own pages to describe your other pages to Google.
Okay.
So back in the link spam days, the way it worked was, if you could pay for or automatically generate a lot of links from pages with the right anchor text on pages that were maybe relevant, that had or pages that had a lot of, or just go to a link market and buy links on pages with high page rank, you could get your pages to rank higher in the search results because you're giving those pages better signals. But you don't need to buy links. It turns out you didn't need to buy links to do that. If you had a good website, you had an inventory of pages that you could put links on already that would help your landing pages rank. So in a way, internal linking works because you're just using the remnants of link spam. You shouldn't spam it. I don't think that's going to work. But the signals you're adjusting are the same. The other part is users click links, and you want users to circulate around your website and hopefully go down the sales funnel, and you definitely want to give them an opportunity to navigate to relevant content that will help them answer the query and potentially buy from you. So in one way, it's about usability, and it's about conversion rate optimization. So in other ways, Google uses internal linking to feed into algorithms that are not directly related to ranking. I believe that there's a patent a while ago that I read where Google tries to determine which page to rank for a keyword when a website has several pages that are relevant to the keyword. They will go and Google will according to the patent, it may not be in production, but Google will look at a site, cluster its pages into ones that are very similar to each other, and then when it's picking a page to rank for a keyword, it looks at a cluster of pages that are related to that keyword and pick one based on various signals, one of which are link-based signals. So in terms of, so like in simple terms, if you have a lot of pages about the same thing and Google's picking the wrong one, the one that you don't want them to rank, we typically call that keyword cannibalization. That's really just Google picking what they think the best page for the keyword is, based on whatever signals they find. You can adjust those signals with internal links. That factors into this clustering thing. So if Google's ranking one page, you want them to rank another, send more internal links to your preferred page and get those signals up. And hopefully Google will flip and show your preferred page.
I was actually going to build up to get to that part, but I'll maybe try stepping a few steps back and getting there properly, or just from my notes section. But there are internal links, and there are different types of internal links. So could we maybe just state which ones they are and how they work?
Yes. Context and purpose is the way to think about internal linking. Something John Mueller likes to say a lot is he likes to tell, like when users ask him about internal linking, he says, well, he gives some kind of answer like, well, wouldn't your important pages have a lot of links to them? Or if we looked at your website, could we determine what the most important pages are by links? So when you're redesigning your main navigation or your footer navigation, you should want to have your important pages, your high conversion pages, or high conversion hubs in those navigations, because they get a link on every page. Google may not weight those links very highly because they're on every page. You know, if your website is 10,000 pages large, getting a link in the main navigation is an easy 10,000 links to that page. And I think there's diminishing returns on how many links you put to a page, and you're definitely going to see that in like a main navigation or a footer. But if that page is where you want people to navigate to because it's very important to your sales funnel, you should definitely do that. And if you have a page that's not as important, but you still want to get that navigation link benefit, put it in the footer or put it in your HTML sitemap. And then the anchor text of those links is important, because links describe the page being linked to. You should want your main navigation to be fully descriptive of what it is that you're selling. If you went to a user and just showed them all the links and submenus in your main nav, would they have a pretty good idea of what it is you're selling? If they do, then you probably have pretty good anchor text in your main nav and you're linking to the right pages.
I was going to ask, how do you build a proper internal linking strategy? But I think you're already going on that train. So, yeah.
Yep.
Continue.
Yeah. So that's how you'd want to handle navigation. The next part is what is the directory structure of your site? So they go by different names, like a content hub. If you're selling a software as a service product, you might have a features page, and then you might have a page for every feature of your product. That's a directory structure. Like you'd have /features /feature1, whatever it is. You should want there to be a link from, say, the home page to the features hub page and then from the features hub page to all the features. You want all those pages to connect to each other, so a user could navigate through the main content of each page to get to one of those feature pages. Supposing you want those pages to rank, because usually people are searching for feature-related keywords. So you want to think back to the old days of the internet when we didn't have CMSs, and we and we had to rely on the internal folder directory structure of a site because that represented what was on the web server. These days we don't have that. Everything's CMS generated, and we can choose whatever folder structure we want in our URLs. But you should think about your website as a directory, and you should have links that users can navigate to get from one page down in the directory and then back up and then to any other page. If they just follow a directory up and down, can they get everywhere on the site? So you should want your page, you should want your content to act like a usable directory. Other parts, and that's going to make sure link signals and like PageRank flow around the site. If there's a chain of links from the home page to any other page, PageRank is going to flow through each one of those links and share it among the site. And then the other thing, most of where people are going to be doing internal linking is between pages that are relevant to each other.
Okay.
Say like forming a content hub. Another way of thinking about content hubs, instead of like a directory, a content hub is a cluster of blog posts that are about the same topic or overlap in topics, where if you link to them, users will navigate around them and stick on your site. And having blog posts that overlap in topic gives you a perfect opportunity to link between each other, because you have a relevant place to talk about a page.
And
so if you have one blog post and it has a paragraph about something, another blog post is completely about like red apples and blue apples, you can link between them and then use relevant anchor text to help them rank. And a lot of the link building I do is go through blog posts and see are these blog posts linking to all the relevant pages that they
I think this is something that you guys at Portent itself have really done a great job at. Because one of the case studies that I read was, I think, 3.3 million since Jan organic visits because of creating content hubs and linking. So just to toot your horn.
I didn't work on.
Sorry.
I didn't work on that project specifically, but I do work on a lot of internal linking. I pretty much do at least internal linking several times a year for each of the accounts I work on.
Was it similar to what you do then? As in the Content Hub case study and what you are talking about in Content Hubs in general?
Yes, it's similar.
The strategy? Oh, sorry. The strategy
when
was
you're
similar?
doing internal linking for internal linking for content hubs is like I said before. It's about finding a cluster of pages that are related to each other, and then linking to them. To them. That's one way to go about it. The other part is like when I was talking about directories. Sometimes we call like a directory page a hub page, like a features hub page, and that features hub links out to all the feature child pages. Like that's a content hub. A content hub can take multiple forms. Or let's say you have a series of blog posts that are like part 1, 2, and 3 on a topic. If they all link to each other, that's a content hub. So the strategy is knowing when you should cluster pages together, determining when a directory hub is doing its job, when you should create a new directory hub. Like sometimes clients will have a features page for their product, and they don't have any child pages on it. It's just all the features listed on a page with short blurbs about each one. When they could get a lot more traffic if they built out that hub by creating child pages for each feature.
So it's kind of like a mix of
that's an example of
creating new content to fit it, as well as finding other content that can be linked to. And maybe a bit of updating as well, so you can increase the chances of it linking. Like if there was maybe a topic that
That
was
too.
somewhat related to what you want to include in your hub, you could just update the content with more updated information to make it finally relatable.
Absolutely, that's it.
Okay.
That's it exactly.
I think I did touch upon this with our previous talk with Travis itself when we talked about how updating content and creating new content sometimes can actually just changing a few meta titles and dates. You can just increase keywords and ranking. I think paired with internal linking,
Yeah.
it's like a complete package then.
Yes, it is. Like that's the way we're going to be structuring like ongoing work for some clients now. Like say like every season or every quarter or every campaign, we're going to take a look, get like whatever the priority of that period of time is for the client. Let's say, for example, like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. If a client had a page that was about Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals and they wanted it to rank, we would take a look at that landing page, identify what content changes need to be made, what meta tag changes need to be made. Are there any new internal links, internal link opportunities on that page since last year? Can we build a hub around this page? Are there child pages it needs to have? And then do one of these sets of steps for each important section every year.
Okay.
Like every year we're going to work on Cyber Monday, we know that, and we're going to do the same types of things. So we revisit it every summer, let's say, and then plan the whole year out according to seasons and campaigns to look at different parts of the site that need to be updated in that way.
Okay.
So, like we have an HVAC account, and if they're like during the summer, they're going to be selling a lot of AC units, and during the winter, they're going to be selling a lot of furnaces and furnace repair. So ahead of time, so we have enough time to work on it, get approvals, and get it implemented before that season. Like during the summer, we're going to be thinking about the winter, and we're going to be reviewing their furnace pages and go through all those steps. Like content doesn't need to be updated. Can we? What are the gaps that we need to fill with our competitors, or where can we surpass competitors? What are they not talking about? Meta tags, are they working? Are we addressing the keywords well? Are we getting clicks from the keywords we thought we were going to get? Which ones can we go after? Internal links. Do we have any new content that's gone up that we need to put links on? The blog. What is the set of blog posts we're going to be publishing for this season? Let's ideate them, write content briefs for them. Existing blog posts. Are there featured snippet opportunities we can go after by rewriting content a little bit? And so on. And then we do that set of steps. So it's usually the same set of steps for different sections of the site at a time, spread out over the year.
There are, I think, quite a few ways that you can.
It works
Yeah,
pretty
that
well.
you can manually fix maybe some of these errors or change to get to what you need. But are there any tools that you use to help out with internal linking or rank tracking and off-page work?
We actually don't use a lot of fancy tools. We use tools that work well, that have proven that we have a lot of experience with. And for crawling, we have an internal crawler called RainGauge that Matthew Henry, who's been with us for almost since for a long time. He's our internal. He was an SEO that wanted to get in development, and he wrote RainGauge, which is a custom crawler that lives on AWS that can crawl large sites. And he made it before tools like Screaming Frog got popular for people who wanted to crawl large sites and at a low cost. And definitely before these commercial services for enterprises that crawl sites that are millions of pages large. So we use that. We also use Screaming Frog for a few things. For rank tracking, we use Stat, which is now owned by Moz. I've used Stat for a long time. A coworker of mine actually found them and brought them into the agency I was working at the time, and I've loved them ever since. I'm very excited for the new things that are going to be coming to Stat.
So this was actually going to be part of like a ranking type question of like your top 3 tools to recommend other marketers and SEOs. So would you add that in your list, or do you have like maybe a separate must-need tools?
It depends on the situation. I think Screaming Frog is going to work for a lot of people, but once a website is too large, it's not going to work. It just becomes too cumbersome to crawl sites that are millions of pages large, and they should go with a more commercial tool that, like a software as a service tool. For rank tracking, Stat's great. It's great for local rankings, not maps and not local 3-pack, but like local versions of the SERP. So if you want to track how the classic 10 blue links looks in various locations, Stat can do that. You can put it a country, a city, a state, a province, a postal code, and it will search and it will pull rankings from there. And a lot of rank trackers don't do that. I know people use Ahrefs and SEMrush and so on. They kind of don't. They basically don't do that kind of locally targeted rank tracking. Stat does, and it scales well. I use Ahrefs a lot. I think Ahrefs and SEMrush are similar in a lot of ways. They're always trying to compete with each other for features. We have accounts for both, but we decided internally to use Ahrefs because we want to have consistency in the search volume figures that we report to our clients. So when we report on search volume, we just use Ahrefs as a single point of truth. And I've always liked their backlinks. Back when I was doing a lot of spam cleanup, after I was doing a lot of spam creation, I ended up doing a lot of spam cleanup projects. I always used Ahrefs for their backlink info, and I've liked it. Sometimes we use Majestic, which is unfortunate because I like Majestic, but their offering is kind of too narrow for what we need. If you need lots and lots of backlinks and historical backlinks, Majestic will do it. They probably have more than Ahrefs, but Ahrefs does a lot more.
Thank you for watching. Part 2 of that video will be out soon, so make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates.